I was just going to add to, I mean, you'd be surprised how many people, you know, if, you know, let's say your dream was to be a doctor, you know, or a lawyer. You can't just wake up one day and decide, okay, that's what I want to do, and then instantly start practicing that profession. You've got to go through the steps to, you know, that are necessary to, you know, attain the skills and experience necessary before somebody's going to allow you to lay down on some operating table, you know, to do a procedure. It's that same sort of thing with music. You'd be surprised, you know, at how many times people sit across from our desks and don't know the basics of the business, the foundation. Publishing. What is publishing? What is royalty? You know, what are royalties? You know, how, you know, even from a more technical standpoint, you know, why is, you know, a mix necessary on a song? What is mastering? You know, how do I get in touch with someone to, you know, to get my song on the radio? You know, all those types of things that are just really basic, you know, to your career as a musician or as an artist. And so what we've pretty much decided to do is just kind of take people back to the basics, lay that foundation. Just like, you know, you know, when coming to Christ, you got to have a solid foundation. You know, here in your career, we want to make sure you have a solid foundation in music, in the business, understand what that is, and then be able to build on that. Something that can, you know, that's going to be substantial, that can, you know, support the weight of the gift, you know, and the talent that you actually have.
That is awesome. That's awesome, because it's like what you all are doing. You're giving artists their roots and their wings. You know, you're teaching them how to build some serious foundation and yet learn how to fly, and in a safe environment. Like, okay, you don't know about royalties, or you know, I know a lot of artists, they feel, you know, they have a vision and a purpose from God, but they feel like if I go to these big execs, or if I go here, if I go there, they're gonna laugh at me. They're gonna be like, you don't know, but I have a vision, just like Joseph with all his dreams in front of his brothers. They're like, am I gonna bow down to you? You know, but like you said, it's a process, you know, and God takes us through that process. And I believe that, you know, he's using you all for that movement of saying, you know, I'm going to really have you operate in what I've truly called you to do. And I'm going to bring individuals that can cultivate your gifting, you know, and your talent, and really use it to my glory, and not for show, you know, not for here, but for here. So that's just amazing. I'm honored to be amongst such visionaries, you know, really true visionaries. Yeah, just catch yourself.
We just do what we call to do, you know. And we're excited about it. We're definitely passionate about it. And we're just, you know, as Ann said, you know, we've been given a lot and been able to be a part of a lot of great things in our careers. And, you know, this is just one of the ways we want to be able to help give back, you know, and impact the community, and impact, you know, the artist community as well.
All right, so that's the overall vision of what you are doing. To sum up, what's the overall mission and vision of this? Like, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I want to see pushed.
I would say the overall vision for Artistic Soul Entertainment overall is to really see people launch and relaunch into what God called them to. There's two set classes of people. There are people who, one time or another in their life, they were doing something. They believed God for something. They had the faith for something. They were out there singing and writing. And along the way, somebody either took advantage of them in the studio, overcharged them. Somebody either took their masters, you know, their work that they were working on and ran away with it. Or something happened where they got tangled up and they stopped. I mean, we run into people, what, 10, 15, these ladies, 20 years. They've had songs and stuff, and they just sat there, just like felt like they were paralyzed and couldn't do anything about it. And so those people, we're trying to get them to relaunch and to go back into what they were supposed to do. And then there's some people who's been sitting there, haven't been doing anything. They've just been sitting there, sitting on their gifts, sitting on their talent, you know, and God's going to come back and knock on their door one day and say, hey, what you did with that? And they're going to be like, oh, we buried it, God. Right. And we know you was a man and you wanted your money back. And so God's going to be like, man, you know what, give me that. You know what I'm saying? Leave, you know. And so that's the thing that we're trying to, we want to see people do what God's called them to do. At the end of the day, that's all we want to do. We want to see people do what God's called them to do. We ran into somebody, a sister, we were in Chicago, of a very famous entertainer. And we didn't know who this person was. And if this person would have told us probably in the beginning of the day, we probably would have been flipping out. But at the end of the day, this lady was crying. She was broken. We was tripping like, who is this lady? And at the end of the day, when she told us who her brother was, I mean, I'm sitting there like, huh? You would have thought this woman would have been equipped. She would have known. She would have been, I mean, she would have had everything. You would have thought she would have been at least doing her art, right? I mean, you would, Brandon, right? You would have thought, okay, she at least gonna be doing it. If she didn't know what she this door is so huge. Oh wow, she would be, but she literally didn't understand. Literally was like a little kid, felt like the weight of the world was on her, and she could not do what was in her heart. I mean, this woman could write. This woman had a gift. But but when she left there, I mean, she was snotting, crying. We were snotting, crying. There was people in the crowd who stayed just to see this woman. I mean, she ended up sharing some of her writings with us. And when we walked away, when we drove back here from Chicago, we was like, wow. Now that was crazy. You know, to see that we were sent to Chicago to encourage somebody that after we knew who she was, we would thought, my God, she's the last one that would need encouragement, or somebody to say, come on, you can do it. Go ahead and go for it. And so that's what we're trying to do, is reach those people who feel like they've been lost and left behind, that nobody feels like what they have is valuable. And if you come to Beyond Potential Urban Music Gathering, I promise you, when you leave, you're going to feel like you worth way more than anyone has ever told you you were, because we think that love is going to be the thing that's going to push you out there, and the fact that you are accepted. Most people think, well, if I ain't such and such assigned to this major label, I'm not accepted, I'm not wanted, or what I have isn't valuable. But you think about it, there's only so many roster spots on labels. There's hundreds of thousands of artists, but labels are putting out, even nowadays, so few records nowadays. But that doesn't mean that you're not great at who you are. You're still great. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Yeah.
Well, wow. I'm going. We need to see you at the next Beyond Potential Urban Music Gathering. Don't miss it.